Okay, I think I'm going to make a separate video just on this display board that issue I have. I got some other video going on for that other thing, but so first thing you want to do is if you have test ROM 2, you can put it in test mode, and when you do that, it will cycle through the different lights there, like Cadet, Captain, and all that stuff. And so you can see that my Space Cadet light is not lighting. So we need to troubleshoot. We know it's getting power and everything, but we know that just this one line's not working. So the first thing we're going to do is check continuity, make sure I have actually the connection from the game board to the display board for that line is good, and then we'll start looking at the transistors and stuff. So let's do the continuity test here. All right, the first thing I did is print out this schematic for the display board, because it's the only thing that tells you which one is the Cadet ranking light. And so that goes to Q6 and then on to line 17. And then on another part of the schematic we see display board line 17 is blue yellow and goes to pin 5 on our game board connection. So blue yellow, pin 17 to pin 5. Alright, so pin 17 is all the way over here. It's a 17 pin connector. Pin 1 to 17. Doesn't look blue right there, but whatever. It's it is blue yellow. And connect it there. And then what I did over here was, it's kind of hard to actually connect it, so I just connected it to pin 5 right on the header there, and then I'll plug in. Got my multimeter hooked up to continuity, and we'll just go ahead and plug this in. Alright, and we have continuity, so we know that the connection's good, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the display board now. Okay, to get this out, I think you only need to remove that one screw right there, and then it should, there's a little holder that holds it in. Obviously disconnect the connector, but we should be. Yeah, so there's a little like piece of metal that wedges this side in there, but you can pull it straight out from the front. So now that we have this out, we can look at the display board at the bench. Alright, so I have the board out at the bench here, and you can see there's just a bunch of transistors, like what I think are transistors, tip 110s. And then you look at the back side here. Now granted, I didn't show this in the video, but I did already try swapping bulbs and stuff like that. I know this connection is making good. I did a continuity test from here to the transistor, etc. So I know the bulb is good, the holder is good. I tried swapping them before I even took this out. I didn't show that step. The other thing that's interesting though is these bulbs are 555s, which is a 5 or 6 volt bulb, and it says here 161s, which is a 14 volt or 12 volt bulb typically. So I don't know what voltage this thing is actually getting, so that's something we'll measure to see what the voltage is, and then put in the right bulbs, because it's not only that one. I think I checked a couple of these. They all are, look how black that thing is. It's probably getting burned up because it's a 555 instead of a 14 volt bulb. There's another one that's 555. I don't know, can you see that? There we go. You can kind of see the 555 there. So we'll figure it out. I don't think that's the right bulb for it, at least according to the schematic. The good news is that even the coin, a couple of these Q9, Q8, Q7, I think one goes to the joystick, and then the other two go to coin counters in the coin door. So we can actually just swap one of them and verify Q1 is bad. if we want to. So that's one option there. All right, let me take this apart and get ready to desolder some stuff. All right, one thing I figured out pretty quickly here is that this schematic for the driver board is wrong. I think the pinout here is correct, but the transistors are wrong, because this is the Space Cadet or Cadet ranking, and that goes to, if you trace the line, it goes to this transistor right there, and that transistor is Q1, not Q6 that it says here. So we're gonna this is a Darlington, it says tip 110. I actually have some tip 112s, but it's a Darlington transistor, so you can't really test it, I don't think, with a normal transistor test, or diode test, I mean. So, but I'm still going to pull it. I'm almost guaranteed that this is the problem, so we're going to pull that sucker. Let's see if I can do this on camera here. I don't know how you get this thing out of there. I'm in an awkward position with this camera, but it's got this like rivet in there, so I don't know, do I have to drill that out, or how the heck you get that out? I'll have to figure that out. Okay, I was able to get that little rivet out, but it's, let's see if I can show it to you. I mean, it's, all I did is apply heat and push from the back side, but it looks like there's still some solder in there. If you get, it's kind of difficult. So I'm going to try to get a different soldering tip, desoldering tip, and try to get it in there and see if I can get that solder out to make it a little bit easier to get back in. The other thing is I'm going to set up the tripod and we'll just test this. I did test it. I have that, let's see here, this little cheat sheet that I have hanging up usually. And so we'll go after that, put our multimeter into diode test, and quickly test this. Alright, so this is it's a NPN. It is a Darlington, so usually you can't test these, I thought, but whatever. This is the base. It goes 1, 2, 3, base, collector, emitter, BCE. And so let me try to see if I can get it out of the way there. So base to collector should read low, and it does. Base to emitter should read low, and it doesn't. It's 1.0, and then you should get over limit when you go emitter to base. We're not getting that. Collector to base, emitter to collector should be over limit. Alright, so that thing looks like it's bad. So let's come over here and do the same thing with our new one that I haven't soldered in yet. It's out of circuit, obviously. That looks good. That looks good. So base to collector and base to emitter are both reading low, like 0.5, 0.6. And then if we reverse it, yeah, we're not, see that this one still should be good. That's what I'm talking about. Like with a Darlington, it's not going to be exact. Let's try this, all these other ones. It looks like some of these you can measure in circuit, at least with the bulbs out. I have all the bulbs out right now. And that seems like a decent test is go base to emitter and base to collector. And the reverse, you know, is probably hit or miss. Because it is a Darlington, so it's not like a typical transistor. So Anyway, the other one seemed like it was bad though, the one I pulled out. So let me solder in the new one and work on that. We'll be right back. Okay, so I put on my like skinny nose tip, I guess. I don't know what it's called. It's like, I'll tell you the model number, but I put that on my desoldering iron, and I was able to see. Hopefully, it's not too hot. I was able to get it all the solder out, and so yeah, it is just like solder kind of put into each one of these rivets. I guess from the back side. I'm not sure, but now I'll be able to kind of close the rivet a little bit and then push it in there and resolder it. So that my other tip wouldn't fit down in there, so you definitely have to get something that will go down inside that rivet. Okay, I went ahead and put it in the cabinet, and I put my multimeter on pin 16 and pin 1. Pin 1 is one of the grounds, and pin 16 I think is the voltage coming in or something like that. And I have 11.3 volts DC power, which makes sense. If it would be 12 volts if it's going to the coin counter. Most coin counters are DC power as well. So, all right, let me replace the bulbs with 161s. All right, I have bulbs in there, and you know, the Cadet is working, but then this one's out. That one works, and this one I had to put a 5-volt bulb in there, so you can tell the difference how much brighter the 5-volt bulb is on the 12-volt line. So let me figure out. I got these two that are out right now. Let me figure that out. It might be just a bad bulb or bad connection. All right, it took me a quick second, but I got it working there. Let's see. Hopefully I have enough tape left or memory card. 12 volt, 12 volt, 5 volt at the end there. Yeah, so one of them, both of them, I think were just not making great contact. I just had to adjust the little connector in the back. So, all right, well, that tip 112 works, and it's probably better. It's a little bit higher rated, and I put it in for the Cadet one, which is going to be on more, so maybe it'll last a little bit longer. All right, I figured I'd show it real quick. I'm almost out of tape, but you can see the difference right there. And it's better for it to be 12 volts, so it's not so much heat on the screened bezel there. So cool.